In this video, I'm going to be talking about DraftKings. At this time, they're the second most popular sportsbook. I'm sure you've seen them advertised on TV, but I'm going to be reviewing their sportsbook, not their casino or fantasy stuff. Their fantasy stuff's really cool though, so be on the lookout for future videos on that. I really try to keep my reviews as unbiased as I can. I like to test out different sportsbooks and give you my honest feedback on them. DraftKings isn't paying me anything to say anything. However, if you do decide DraftKings is a good fit for you, make sure you click in the links in my description. You'll get special sign-on bonuses, and I do get a small commission for that. I do put a lot of time in my reviews and make sure I do give you an accurate review on what it's like to use their sportsbook. But leave a comment down below. Let me know what your experience is with DraftKings. Good, bad, ugly, I don't care. Let's do this shit. Okay, so here's an inside look of what the sportsbook looks like inside DraftKings. As you can see, everything's pretty neatly organized. All the major sports that you're really going to want to bet on, like the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, soccer, tennis, are listed at the top under their popular section. That makes it easy to find them. But they do have a number of lesser known popular sports that you can also bet on. It's located under their popular sports, and it's called the A to Z sports. DraftKings does work with mobile devices. This means you can use it with both a Mac or an Android device, such as your cell phone and your tablet. Really, I feel it's very important that the sportsbook has mobile device capabilities. In fact, a lot of times I'm not at home and I don't want to sit at a computer and put in my bets. You know, sometimes I am not at home. Like for instance, on Sundays I go to church and I take money out of the offering plate so I can bet on sports. I always pay it back tenfold though. Well, sometimes. Jesus, if you're watching this, it wasn't me. Okay, so one thing that DraftKings does better than any other sportsbooks is you see these two bars right here. You can easily sort through whatever you're trying to bet on, say these NBA games, and you're going for player combos. These two lines make it such easier to do. Like, rather than clicking on a bunch of things a number of times, you can easily find what you want. So if you wanted like player combos, you can see all the different player combos for all the different games. You don't have to click on each individual game and then hunt and pick for the player that you want. So it just makes it so much easier. I wish so many other sportsbooks would try to implement that into their user interface. It would make it so much easier to find what you're betting on. One thing I do really like about the mobile version of DraftKings is you can easily log in using a 4-digit PIN. This is great because with a lot of other sportsbooks you actually have to enter in your email and your password, and it does take a while. So this is a little feature that I really do like, and it does help with the usability with DraftKings when you're using it on your cell phone. And I really do wish a lot of other sportsbooks would make it this easy to log in. In terms of usability, I'm going to have to give DraftKings a perfect 5 out of 5. Everything's pretty easy to use. I mean, I never have to really search for any kind of game that I'm trying to place a bet on. Their mobile version of their website is really great. I do like using it on my iPhone, and they make it so easy to just log in and place a bet. And a lot of sportsbooks, they'll actually run kind of buggy or slow at times. I've never noticed that kind of issue with DraftKings. Everything is pretty much stable 100% of the time, and their usability is just absolutely perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about the features that are offered with DraftKings. As I already mentioned, you can bet on all the major sports: NBA, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, college sports, soccer, golf, tennis. But you can even bet on the Emmys. For instance, you can bet on Better Call Saul for a plus 2,000 odds. I'm really pulling for you. You can even bet on the esports or Academy Awards. But all that stuff's great. You're probably going to want to bet on the major markets, and you can bet on pretty much any way you want to bet on DraftKings that you want. For instance, you can take money lines for football teams, basketball teams, spreads, meaning the team has to win by a certain amount of points, the overs and unders for the first half, second half, the entire game, tons and tons of different player props, futures, live betting, or should I say live in-game betting, and you can parlay any and everything together. So DraftKings really does allow you to bet any way you want on anything you want, and that's really the most important part to a sportsbook, is allowing you to bet the way you want to bet. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how easy it is to go ahead and place a bet within DraftKings. And basically what I am is I'm on the NFL page and I'm just looking at all the games, and let's say that I'm interested in this Buffalo Bills and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, and you would take the spreads here, the totals here, and the money lines here. Quickly, I'm just going to say that the Buffalo Bills and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's going to be an over 43 because I think Buffalo's just going to take all their anger out on Tampa Bay Buccaneers since the Patriots beat them last game. And then let's just say the Green Bay Packers are going to win. They got to come within 1. And then let's just say the Colts are going to straight out win because why wouldn't they? And then we're going to do a anytime touchdown score bet, which we just click on anytime or touchdown scores right there. And we're going to go with Mike Evans to score a touchdown anytime during the game. Make sure you click anytime during the game, not last TD score or first TD score. And then basically all you're going to do is put in your wager, like how much you're going to be bet on each one of those. $100 on each one of them. And you can see what the payout is. It's $100 for 190, and I'm not going to read them all to you. And the odds did change while I was placing these bets, so that's a nice feature that all you have to do is hit accept odds and then you can place your bet. Now, if you wanted to do a parlay with all these, you would leave these blank and then put in your wager right here. One great feature that DraftKings has is they have a live in-game tracker. And don't get me wrong, all sportsbooks have live in-game trackers. But for instance, say you have your bets in, it actually shows your bets, but it shows in real time what is happening in the game. What I mean is if you're betting on Aaron Savali to get over 4.5 strikeouts and it's the second inning or something, it will show like 2 strikeouts with the line. This is one thing that DraftKings didn't have in the past, and I believe FanDuel had it first, but they did just make the change not too long ago, and I really do like the live in bet game tracking. But you know what I'd really like is if you would go ahead and just subscribe to my channel. So DraftKings really does have a lot of features for their sports books, and it should be no surprise that I'm going to give them a perfect 5 out of 5. I mean, you're going to be able to bet on anything you want, pretty much any way you want to bet, and you can even track your bets in real time and see how you're doing. So really, the features with DraftKings are just top notch, and I really wouldn't change a thing about them. Okay, so we got to check the odds that you're going to get with DraftKings, because believe it or not, the odds can change from sportsbook to sportsbook. And one way in which I do this is I use a premium tool by OddsJam. It's their sportsbook screen, and what this does is it allows you to compare the odds with a lot of different sportsbooks. It's actually about 140 sportsbooks to be exact. But anyways, I'm going to show you the odds so you can see exactly what you can expect with DraftKings. Okay, so here's a look at the NFL games that are coming up this week. And as you can see, I know it's a little overwhelming at first, but here's DraftKings, and then here's OddsJam's Algo odds, which basically adds them all and has its own algorithm that will determine what the odds, what like the fair odds would be. Or you can look at this average odds. But basically, if you look at this Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, DraftKings is offering 3 plus 340, and the average is plus 360. So you can see that they're not offering about 20 points more. Buffalo Bills, negative 40. Their average is negative 360. That's a huge difference. That's almost a 100-point difference. And if you look on down the road, you can see that their points are about 10 points higher every single time. So you are going to be paying more, or I should say the juice is going to be more with DraftKings. Okay, so I'm going to rank DraftKings at 3.5 out of 5 in terms of odds. Now, the reason I give them a lower rating is because the prices are going to be about 10 or 20 points higher than other sports books. But even though they're a little bit higher than other sports books, their odds do come out a lot sooner. What I mean is basically in the NBA, when a game is over at night, say like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, DraftKings usually has their odds up for the next games that night. Other sports books will wait until the next day in the morning to have their odds up. Okay, so the next thing I want to be talking about with DraftKings is their customer support and depositing and withdrawing money. Now, I kind of consider this to be like the trust factor, like can you trust DraftKings? And the short answer is yes, you can definitely trust DraftKings. If ever you have problems or issues, all you do is you click on your username in the upper right-hand corner and you click contact customer support. They'll have a whole bunch of help articles which might troubleshoot anything that you're having a problem with, but if you do need to actually talk to somebody, you can click on their live chat and somebody will help you within minutes. Now, I've only had to contact them a couple times and my problems were always resolved really quickly. Like I'm talking 2 minutes or 1 minute. For problems that require additional attention, they might have to start a customer support ticket, and even those were handled in up to 30 minutes. Now, I know a lot of people prefer phone-based support, but if it works and it's not phone-based support, I have no problem with it. And it does work with DraftKings. In fact, I don't even really like talking to people on the phone for customer support or people in general, but that's just me. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be talking about with DraftKings is depositing money. After you deposit money, you are going to be able to bet on games instantly. You don't have to wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour. The second that you deposit that money, you can start betting with it. Now, DraftKings does allow a number of different ways to deposit money. You can use your online banking where you put in your routing and your account number. You can use your credit or debit card, or my preferred way is to use PayPal. ACH payments and e-checks are also supported. Play Plus prepaid cards are also supported, along with wire transfers and also DraftKings own gift cards. Cash from retail stores like Family Dollar, CVS, Dollar General, 7-Eleven, and then Venmo is also accepted by DraftKings. Also, you can set a daily, weekly, monthly limit to the amount that you can deposit. This helps to make sure you're gambling responsibly. Next, I'm going to be talking about withdrawing money from DraftKings. That's probably everybody's favorite. Now, I do want to point out that however you deposit your money, you have to withdraw it the same way. You can use online banking, which takes about 5 days for it to hit your account. An e-check, which is VIP preferred, and that's about 3 days. PayPal, which is 2 days. Your credit or debit card, which is about 1 day. Cash Cage, which is about 1 hour. Very fast way to receive your money. Venmo, up to 2 days. Play and prepaid cards, that can take up to 4 days. Trustly verified withdrawals, which can take a day. Apple Pay, which can be 1 day. And then if you want to have a check sent to your mailbox, you can do that. If it's a check under $100, it's going to take 14 days. So, make sure you're waiting by the mailbox. Or if it's $100 to $2,000, you can have U.S. Postal Service send you a check, which takes about 5 days. And then finally, if you have a check over $2,000, you can have FedEx send you a check, which takes about 3 days. And then lastly, you can have a bank wire, which will take about 2 days. Okay, so as you probably guessed, I'm going to give DraftKings a perfect 5 out of 5 for their trust score. They were founded in 2012 in Massachusetts, and they're actually regulated in the United States. And honestly, if you've been following my reviews, I'm really big about using sportsbooks that are regulated in the United States versus using overseas ones. Customer support really is pretty decent with DraftKings. I haven't had to contact them a lot, but they don't offer telephone support, but their live chat's really fast and you always get your questions answered quickly. And if you do have to start a support ticket, you can do that, which takes anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. I've always gotten a reply back. Clearly, they're just not going to take your money and run, so depositing money is easy. And clearly, if you do get winnings and you want to make a withdrawal, you can easily make a withdrawal. So DraftKings is really a very trustworthy sportsbook. DraftKings does offer a lot of promotional boosts. Promotional boosts are great, especially if you want a sportsbook where you want to maximize your money. And who doesn't love promotional boost, right? I had a promotion once. Got promoted to a supervisor. After 1 year, I gave that job my 2 days notice and quit. That's the only way you should leave a 9-to-5 job. Suck it. But anyways, DraftKings does offer a lot of promotions throughout the year. And for instance, there was an NBA boost today, which was 50% profit. Basically, any game, player prop, anything in the NBA that you place a bet on, you get a 50% boost. And since the World Series is going on right now, they gave you a 25% boost for anything you play on in the MLB. And they did have a superstar boost for the NBA also. They boosted Butler and Tatum for plus 175 for a boost. But speaking of boost, when you do sign up with them, if you bet just $5, you get $200 of free bonus bets. That's a pretty generous sign-up bonus, and I highly recommend that you take care of it. Make sure you click on the link in my description down below to make sure you get that. But anyways, DraftKings does offer a lot of boosts throughout the year. And to make sure that you actually get it, you have to actually click on the boost and opt into it. So just make sure you're clicking on it and opting in if you do want to take part in the boost. Okay, so a lot of sportsbooks don't offer a loyalty program. Fortunately for DraftKings, they do. And basically, their rewards program is called the Dynasty Rewards. But basically, they'll assign you missions. And when you accept these missions, you get crowns, which is the currency for DraftKings. And these crowns can be redeemed for free credits. They have their own exclusive store. And the rewards program actually is based on how many crowns you earn per year, meaning between January 1st and December 31st. And DraftKings does have 4 tiers for their reward program. I'm not going to read them to you because basically I can't read, but DraftKings loyalty program really is pretty good, and I do wish a lot of other sportsbooks would have a loyalty program. It kind of gives you that extra incentive to keep using their site for your sports betting, and I know a lot of sports bettors do really appreciate the reward system and everything like that. I'm going to have to give DraftKings a perfect 5 out of 5 for their loyalty program and their promotional boost. They do offer about 5 or so promotional boosts per day, and they range anything from a free bet in the NBA, like at the beginning of the season you got a free $10 bet, to a 50% boost on whatever game in the NBA or NFL you wanted to bet on. And when you pair that with their loyalty program, there's really no reason to give them anything less than a 5 out of 5. I really wish a lot of other sportsbooks would use the loyalty program the same way that DraftKings does. Okay, so here's the final scorecard on DraftKings. Basically, I'm just going to summarize everything I've already said in this video. But the usability of DraftKings is absolutely perfect. It's so easy to use on the computer, and their mobile version is even easier to use. And they get a perfect 5 out of 5 for their features. You're going to be able to bet on anything and everything you want to bet on, however you want to bet on it. Now, if there's just one negative thing I can say about DraftKings is their odds are going to be inflated. It's going to be inflated by about 10 or 20 points. But on the plus side of that, their lines or their odds are out earlier than other sports books. And it should be no surprise that they get a 5 out of 5 for Trust. You've seen them advertised on TV, and they're not just going to take your money and run. They're regulated in the United States. It's really easy to withdraw and deposit money, and support usually does a pretty good job at answering your questions quickly. DraftKings promotional offers are great, meaning they're going to offer lots of them throughout the year. And one thing that they have that a lot of other sports books don't have is a loyalty program. This is just an extra incentive to use DraftKings as your sports book, and it works great. So overall, I'm going to say they're a very good sports book. I'm going to give them a 4.7 out of 5, and I highly recommend that you use DraftKings. Make sure you click on my link in my description. You can get your $5 bet and get $200 worth of bonus bets free. Alright, well that's the end of this DraftKings review, but leave a comment down below. Let me know if there's anything I left out, anything you want to add to this review. Do you agree with me? Do you completely disagree with me? Either way is fine. The more feedback we get on DraftKings, the better. Let me know about your experience with them. And go ahead and like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you want a lot more content on sports betting. Always got a shitload of links in the description. And I'm out! Time to go admire myself in the mirror!